Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam. Welcome everyone to Vani Amritvani program. Today, His Grace Kaustubha Krishna Prabhuji will be giving his transcendental words of wisdom. His Grace Ram Kripa Das Prabhuji will be reading the Nam Amrit, followed by Prabhupada quote, followed by Prabhupada Leela Amrit. Thereafter, His Grace Satya Haridas Prabhuji will be reciting the shlokas. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam. Welcome everyone.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada की जय। His His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj की जय। His Holiness Bhakti Ashraya Vaishnava Swami Maharaj की जय। His Grace शिक्षा गुरु रूप विलास प्रभु की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री नामामृता। A serious devotee absorbed in the holy name cannot divert his attention to any subject matter not associated with Krishna. Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. The vibration of his flute is just like a bird that creates a nest within the ears of the gopis and always remains prominent there, not allowing any other sound to enter their ears. Indeed, the gopis cannot hear anything else, nor are they able to concentrate on anything else, not even to give a suitable reply. Such are the effects of the vibration of Lord Krishna's flute. The vibration of Krishna's flute is always prominent in the ears of the gopis. Naturally, they cannot hear anything else. Constant remembrance of the holy sound of Krishna's flute keeps them enlightened and enlivened, and they do not allow any other sound to enter their ears. Since their attention is fixed on Krishna's flute, they cannot divert their minds to any other subject. In other words, a devotee who has heard the sound of Krishna's flute forgets to talk or hear any other subject. This vibration of Krishna's flute is represented by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. A serious devotee of the Lord who chant and hear this transcendental vibration becomes accustomed to it that he cannot divert his attention to any subject matter not related to Krishna's blissful characteristics and paraphernalia. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 21.144. Srila Prabhupada quote, 21st December. This Krishna consciousness movement is for approaching Radha Krishna to be associated with the Supreme Lord in his sublime pleasure dance. That is the aim of Krishna consciousness. Los Angeles, December 21st, 1968. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. He also preached Lord Chaitanya's message through letters, writing to many leaders in the government, to respectable acquaintances, and to people to people whose article had read or whose activities had caught his eye in the newspaper. Presenting himself as humble servant, he wrote to them of his ideas on how India's original Krishna consciousness culture could be applied as the successful solution to all manners of dilemmas. Sometimes his letters drew replies, and Abhay would respond, fanning the sparks of interest wherever he found them. A well-known reformer, Mahendra Pratap Raja, who was forming what he called the World Federation. Abhay had read a new seat which Mr. Pratap had published from Vrindavana, in which he had addressed all nations and the people of the world and called for an unity of mankind. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण दंड प्रणाम भगवत गीता 16.20 आसुरीम योनिमापन्ना मूढ़ा जन्नी जन्मनि माम प्राप्येव कौन्तेय ततो यान्ति धमाम गतिम. Translation: Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demonic life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.14.14 Mano ye uchu नृपवर्ये निबोधे तद्धत्यते विद्य विज्ञाम पाये भो आयु श्री बल कीर्ति नाम ताव तात विवर्धनम. Translation: The great sages said, Dear King, we have come to give you good advice. Kindly hear us with great attention. By doing so, your duration of life and your opulence, strength, and reputation will increase. Chaitanya Chaitama Madhilila 5.74 Tabe ami gopalare saksi karina kahilana tenra pade minati Krishna. Translation: Accepting the Gopal deity as my witness, I then submitted the following at his lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Dandapanam to all listeners.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radharas Bihari ki jai, Lalita Sakya Vishakha ki jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Bhakt Hanuman ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya ki. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Morning Japa program ki jai. Amritvani ki jai. Samasta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. In today's Amritvani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanatan Goswami about the influence of the vibrations of flute, Lord Krishna's flute, how it enters in the ears of gopis. He says, gopis, there can be no match in devotion as the gopis are there. They, all the time, they want to hear only the vibrations of the flute. It is said that when Lord Krishna wanted to perform a Ras Leela, so at the time in the night time, when in the jungle sitting there, he blew his flute, and that vibrations of the flute were only heard by the gopis, none others. All other family members were sleeping when the gopis heard this and came for the Ras Leela. So this is the effect on that. Even when Uddhav, he came to Vrindavan to explain to the gopis that Krishna always remembers them. But gopis said, we have never forgotten him and we always find him to be here. So don't explain to us about Krishna. So this is what happened. And similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he says that in Kali Yuga nowadays, the name of the Lord, chanting or glorifying the name of the Lord is also so important, equally like the vibrations of the flute, that once it enters in your ears, you would not like to hear anything else. And therefore he says that you should remain in Krishna consciousness and here keep on chanting. Now, how to come in the Krishna consciousness? You have to follow 4 regulative principles and keep on chanting the Mahamantra without any offenses. Hare Krishna. In today's Prabhupada quote, this Krishna consciousness movement is for approaching Radha and Krishna, to be associated with the Supreme Lord in his sublime player dance. That is the aim of Krishna consciousness. So Mahaprabhu, he says that Krishna consciousness is very important. We all are the part and particles of Lord Krishna. Our aim is here to always go back home, back to Godhead. And for doing that, we must be in the devotion. And in that devotion, how to find that devotion? We had to be in the Krishna consciousness movement. And for getting in Krishna consciousness movement, we have to always keep on chanting the holy name of the Lord. And then alone, the aim is ultimately to go back home and to be in the service of the Lord and always see the Lord, Radha and Krishna, how they keep on dancing and performing pastimes in the Golok also. Hare Krishna. In today's Leela Amrita, Srila Prabhupada, he quotes, he also preached Lord Chaitanya's message, the magazine which he was publishing, Back to Godhead. So Prabhupada was always quoting about the messages or the requirement or the instructions given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how to unite all the nations and how to remain in peace. And he used to write the letters to so many people who were renounced people in the government as well as prominent ones. He also found that there was one person, Mahendra Pratap Raja, who wanted to form what he called the World Federation. And he also, by writing through the paper, requested all the nations to be in the peace and to avoid the wars which are going on there. I had read a news sheet which Pratap had published from Vrindavan, in which he addressed all the nations and the people of the world and called for a unity and mankind. So this is what even Prabhupada, he wanted, that all the nations should unite together. And how can that be done? That can be done only by the way of people always remembering the Lord and glorifying the Lord and to be in the Krishna consciousness. As nowadays we find that in Mayapur, the temple which is constructed, in that the people from devotees from all the nations, they come, chant, perform devotion, bhakti, as well as keep on dancing together. And there is no enmity or enviousness in anyone. That is the way. And that's why Prabhupada had to go to foreign countries to spread the message of Krishna to all of them. And then, of course, he succeeded. And now we find that there are so many, in almost all the nations in the world, they have ISKCON temples and Krishna consciousness. People are more and more people coming to Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. In today's Bhagavad Gita, he says that those who are of demoniac nature, who are envious to Lord Krishna, they are always taking birth after birth in this. We know that there are 84 lakh species in this world, and not only in this world, but in the universe, we can call it. And so these people will never get free from that, which is the full of miseries, and they keep on suffering, but they don't leave their nature, demonic nature. Haribol. Now here, after King Nemi, he went to the forest, and the sages who had appointed King Vin, who was the most dangerous or killer person, uh, they realized their mistake, and they thought that now what should be done, because the people in general were not happy, and the thieves and the dacoits were also creating problem. Therefore, they thought to bring about some reformation in King Vin. So they are together, and now they are having a meeting with King Vin. And we have come to, they are always saying that, now we have come to give you good advice, kindly hear us with great attention. By doing so, your duration of life and your opulence, strength, and reputation will increase. But then King Wen, he doesn't care for all these sages, because he is proud about his uh, being a king. Let us see what happens further then. Okay, we'll go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now the younger Brahman, who had been explaining to the public, the panchayat who had collected there, that even though he had been refusing constantly to the old Brahman as to not give promise of giving his daughter in marriage to the younger one. But when ultimately, when he took the oath in front of Lord Gopal in Vrindavan, then the younger brother had to submit, and he accepted the proposal of getting married to his daughter. And now let us see what further happens, because now the family members who are also sitting there, and they will say that, okay, bring Lord, if he is the witness, bring Lord, and Lord will of course come and stay there in Orissa as a Sakshi Gopal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,